What's up, guys? This is Corey Thompson with Roughneck Real Estate. We're here with Braxton Harrison. We got the man, flew in from Florida, Nicholas Nick,
Nicholas Nick, baby.
with
I made it.
leadminingpros.com.
Yes, sir.
We're going to get right into it. We'll get into your story afterwards, but we want to know exactly what it is you do. And so I'll tell you how he helped our business. We paid Nicholas Nick $5,500, sent him 15,000,
Records.
not leads. We sent him a list of 15,000 properties. Got 3 contracts. We're going to make over $1 million on one of them, one of those contracts. Wow. So a $5,500 investment. I mean, we've got 50 leads to follow up with, so they're still in the pipeline. But he sent us a ton of leads, and we've converted 3 contracts. Phenomenal results. So what is it you do? How can you help the real estate investors that are out there improve their business?
Yeah, no, absolutely. So I got lucky a couple years back. I founded this company. Lead gen's the hardest thing real estate investors definitely face. Tying all those pieces together, everyone gets lost in the sauce, you know? And so what I do is I tie all those pieces together effortlessly and in one price, you know? So I have everything bundled together on the website, but we can pull a list, skip trace it, cold call it, and text message it, all done for you in one wrapped up bundle. Our cold callers are American, and our text messaging is really good. We don't have reply stop to opt out requirements that other people do through Twilio, and we can also put addresses in the text messages. So when you use us, it's not just the same old system. It's not just what your VAs were doing. It's perfected. We know what we're doing. We've been in business for 7 years. Me and Corey, we actually started around the same time.
Right.
You know, walking around the party yesterday, seeing talking about your growth, and I was like, wow, like you and I are proof that you do anything for 7 fucking years and you're paying attention.
Yep, right.
You're going to fucking crush it.
That's right.
Know? So it was cool to hear your story because I'm like, man, this is like my story. You know, but, you know, we've been in business for a long time, and it's my goal to make life simpler. You know, to add on additional services, I offer free coaching, free courses, and every client is invited to one-on-one calls with me as well. So it's not just like, hey, here's a lead gen. It's like, hey, here's an expert who's been doing this for 7 years, and here's amazing lead gen.
So we've been doing this almost 10 years now. Braxton came on how many years ago?
Towards the end of 2020.
So we did our own cold calling. We did our own texting. We've done all of that. So we went through the pain of having that on our own shoulders. Yeah. And eventually you got to buy back your time. So the problems we'd run into is we would have our cold call numbers. They would get burnt out. They would say spam likely or whatever it is. Our text messaging went to not getting delivered at all. Yeah. And it was like, we're fighting this battle all the time. Somebody, Braxton's doing the marketing. I'm setting the marketing up. I'm having to always fight to get a new number, do this. And then the liability alone of doing it, you're like, taking on a liability because you got to go register, you got to do all these things.
Right.
And that's not our skill set. That's not what we do.
Yeah.
So when we got ready to, we didn't market last year. We bought exclusively from wholesalers.
Okay.
So we were like, we're going to get back into it. But I was like, I've been watching this guy for a while and I trust him. I think that he's honest. My hesitation of farming it out was always, if I do that, they'll steal my leads.
Yeah, sure.
They'll steal my leads.
Right.
They're going to steal my leads.
Yeah.
You hear so many horror stories about that, right?
Yeah, right.
But I was like, I've been watching this guy for a long time. I've never seen anybody say a bad thing about you, ever, on the internet. And believe me, if something's bad going on the internet, they're going to tell me about it. So I was like, we're going to hire this guy. We're going to give him a chance. We're going to see how it goes. And so I approached you. I DM'd you on Facebook.
Yeah.
And you're like, just go through the website. Super easy process. I'm not, this isn't a sales pitch. This is honest. I mean, he's texting me, and then once you're in the system, they text you the leads, email you the leads, and we'll put them into your CRM if you have a webhook, which I don't even know what a webhook is. But I was like, Braxton, we got a webhook?
We tried. I don't think it really worked. That was more on our side.
Yeah. We don't have a webhook.
Yeah.
So anyways, but I love a lead mining email I love the text messages. I love when I get them.
Yeah.
I get excited, and we honestly, we probably would have more contracts if we'd done a better job with the leads you sent us, because we kind of got our plate full. I was like, man, if we get one out of this spend, it'll be good.
Yeah.
And you far exceeded that expectation.
That's
so awesome. I can't stress enough how important it is to buy back your time and hire somebody. This is what you do every day.
Right. This is what you can. And to your point, I had a customer. So you said stealing the leads.
Right.
And I had a customer call me up one day. Well, a couple different. One is, Nick, do you invest in real estate? I do not invest in real estate. Okay. And I make so much money doing what I do for you, I don't want to learn how to invest in real estate. Okay, like you don't want to do cold calling. I don't want to do what you do.
Right.
It's mutual. And so that's the first thing. So a lot of people go, well, why don't you? You have this company. Well, in quite honesty, I'm such a badass. You don't want to compete with me if I decide to enter your realm. I'm just going to be real. That's why I have this cold call. My systems are solid. And I don't want you to think you're competing with me just by hiring me either. That's not warm and fuzzy at all.
No.
I don't think. Mm-hmm. So that's why I don't invest. The other part is my focus. I had a guy call me up once and he goes, you know what I love about you, man? He says, every time I call you, you're talking about leads. You're not saying, I'm walking this property, I got to call you back. I'm handling a different business, let me call you back. You're always like, you're locked in to my leads. And that was I didn't even realize that until and I was like, well, yeah, like I'm going to make over $1 million a year net this year. So I'm not trying to pretend like I'm Mother Teresa over here. Okay. I'm fucking killing it. But because I'm killing it, I need you to kill it.
Right.
And I need my systems to be solid. And so it's like, I am so locked in because I'm making $1 million a year that you not that you want to, but you can't catch me slipping because I'm so ready. I'm so ready for it.
And another thing, like you made a post one day that you're like, hey, I have $100,000 to lend on a deal.
Yeah.
Like you're like, I've got $100,000. I want to lend it.
That's right.
So I mean, you do it in a different way. You got a different manner.
That's right. So, and I'll love to talk about that real quick. And this goes for anyone. I'll buy your deal.
Right.
It's got to be the best fucking deal you've ever seen now. And I'm going to take an aggressive equity stake. But I do when I have a surplus of cash, which I do again. But it's like I make a post and I'm like, and this is smart for all of you guys, so anyone who's got cash piled up. I make a post and the post said, send me your best fucking deal.
Right.
And I'm going to take a piece of it.
Right.
But I want us both to win. If you send me a little deal, we both can't make enough on it.
Right.
Send me your best deal and let's do something together. So I actually want to put my money to work. I don't want that to be through chasing leads down.
Right.
That's what my clients do, right?
Right.
But on the flip side, what I am working on is I want my clients to bring me their great deals first. Hey, first of all, I post all of my clients' deals on my Facebook page. I have over 13,000 investor followers. And two is if it's a great deal, I might buy it. So just by using our service, you're at least getting one buyer conversation, and I'll put your deal out in front of other people's deals as well.
We've been following each other. I don't know how we found each other on the internet. How?
Roughneck to real estate. I remember when it popped up. You just quit the oil fields back then. I don't know how you had the insight to do what you did back then, but that's how I found you. And then I was in all the groups stealing everyone's that was complaining about lead gen. Back then I had no competition.
Right.
And so that's for the first 2 years in business, I made over $1.5 million by going into Facebook groups and commenting on posts talking about buyers and sellers and offering my services. So I most likely used your group at the time 7 years ago as a lead gen source for me.
Well, but it was good. I mean, at the time we were so in infancy. We were doing everything on Facebook Marketplace, all the free stuff. But I mean, I've watched your growth over the years. I think you were in Wholesaling Houses Elites, Max Maxwell's group.
That's right. Yeah.
I think that's where we ran across each other at one point in time. And I just watching, and I was always like, cold calling. I was like, I don't know. But you had the skip tracing for such a long time.
Yeah.
You've had, that was the first thing that I noticed. You were like, I got 7-cent skips. I've got this. And back then, I mean, you were the first person I ever heard talk about, skip tracing. And we did RVMs for a little bit there, ringless voicemails for those of y'all that don't know what it is. But anyways, I was always like, man, 7-cent skips, and I would see you and people arguing about data and like where y'all get this data and how y'all procure it. And I was like, this is interesting. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But you've always known what you're talking about.
Right.
Like, like there would be other people that are like, oh, you're getting, I don't know, credit bureau data or whatever it is. And you're like, you don't know shit, blah, 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 blah.
Well,
because anyways, go ahead.
Well, no, it's like the difference of me is I see everything in action.
Right.
So yeah, credit bureau data, that's a great reason to pay 20 cents per skip.
Right.
When someone says that. But my skip tracing gets the right person on the phone over 85% of the time. And I track that. Because if I'm not getting the right person on the phone, you're not getting leads. If you're not getting leads, I'm out of business, right? So it's like, what I just try to do is demystify. Both of us are demystifiers, right? You're the coach demystifier. I'm the, hey, that's a marketing ploy demystifier, right? So it's like, that's kind of what I do. And we get caught up in all this data and all this marketing ploy that we forget to see what really, and that's why I tell people with skip tracing, just go with the cheapest, most reputable company. That's the answer. We're all the same.
Right.
We're really all the same nowadays. So go with the cheapest, most reputable, which happens to be us.
LeadMiningPros.com. So Nick flew out from Florida.
Yeah.
Kind of tell people your backstory. How did you end up in this space? How did you end up in the skip tracing, real estate type of space? How did you end up in this marketing space?
The other thing that's similar between us, which is why it was so cool that we finally connect, is we're both blue collar, right? Yeah. We both killed ourselves in another industry that required us to work 70 hours a week. I mean, you probably more, because I think oil feels like you're there. You're like a firefighter. You're living there. So there is no time off. Thank God I did have some time off. But I was a restaurant manager for 13 years. And that's what taught me my fearlessness, right? I'm sure like you would wake up one day, some days, to oil rig issues, and you're like, well, and now in the real life, you're like, oh, this ain't shit.
Definitely not.
And sometimes, and even with us, and it's different, right? Yours was probably dirtier and more dangerous, right? But mine was emotionally exhausting, and then also required 70-hour work weeks, and really for me to like give up everything. And so I ran restaurants for 13 years, very, very struggle bussy. Restaurants are. Your leaders suck. Your employees, actually, the employees are the best part about it. But if you're not a good leader, your employees suck too, right? And so I climbed my way through the restaurant career. And at the end of my 13 years, I was looking around, and I used the phrase, I ran out of role models. And I was like, my boss was an asshole. His boss was a bigger asshole. And neither one of them are making that much. I mean, I'm talking like 150 max.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And then they would, there's this weird thing in restaurants, I bet they did this out there too, that's like, who works the most hours around here, huh? And it's like, you get caught up in that fucking culture. Yeah, I worked 70 hours last week. I mean, I'm fucking salary. I don't make a penny more over 40. Okay?
Right.
So, like, it just didn't math. So anyways, I didn't like these leaders. I didn't want to be them. And I was like, I quit. I literally walked out. And one thing I say is, on a 13-year career that you're really good at, you have to walk out, because your boss is going to offer you more money. And then you're going to say yes. And then you're going to be stuck again. You're going to have to go through all these breakthrough emotions all over again. So anyways, I walked out and I applied for a real estate. I didn't know. I went home. I sat unemployed for 9 weeks. I was like, fuck restaurants, not going back. If I went on one restaurant interview, you're hired. Right. 13 years experience, I know everything in restaurants, okay? You're hired. I didn't want that. So I didn't even go on those interviews. And then I did all these other weird interviews, everything on Craigslist. That's how old I am. Craigslist was how I used to get my jobs, okay? Everything on Craigslist. Finally, this company reaches out to me. They teach people how to invest in real estate. Clever Investor. Okay? Yeah. I don't know what the fuck that is. I've been flipping burgers, flipping houses. What the fuck? Like, what? You guys do what? I swear, I remember they hired me, and they hired me as an event coordinator. So I threw their events for Cody and this guy named Franklin at the time. I threw all the events for them.
Okay.
Okay. And I knew nothing. But restaurants are basically an event that runs for 15 hours a day. So I was like, I can do this. They totally related the skills. That got me into real estate. The first call I took from a student, man, I made $70,000 on this deal I just closed. And I didn't, literally what I said to this man was, did you know that I worked 70 hours a week for 52 weeks last year to make that much money? Because that's how much I actually made only $65,000 a year as a restaurant manager. That's what I capped at. And that was my first glass ceiling breakage moment. You know, and then through that career, because my leadership skills were so strong, over the next 10 months, I got 4 promotions, and I ended up being an executive overseeing all of fulfillment, all of mentoring for Clever Investor.
Okay.
Through the events, now I have 13 mentors underneath me. I have customer service underneath me. I have what we called concierge, which was customer service to their high-paying students. It was so cool. So I'm 10 months out of the restaurant industry, and I'm an executive.
That's badass.
And I was like, yo, this is crazy.
In a brand new industry, right?
Brand new industry. Dude, I didn't even know what real estate... I remember I walked into my boss's office and I said, so you're telling me, because we sold mentorship, that we sell somebody's brain to somebody else to teach them how to do something? And I didn't even know what that something was yet. That's why I didn't say real estate. And I was like that bewildered by it. But you know what? I knew from my restaurant how to get 40 servers to say the same thing, how to get everyone to sweep the fucking floor. I knew how to get people happy and positive and then do a really shitty job in a really good way. So when I got in this field, there was all these, I could see the issues right away.
Right.
Not everyone's used to operating at the level that I operated restaurants at. A lot of people don't. You know, when you can control a staff of 70 all at the same time and they're happy about it, you can see different problems.
You're doing something right too.
That's well, and thank you. But you're right. And when you go into another, they might think everything's fine. Oh, we're great. No, you're not great at all. You actually have so much room for improvement. So I did some amazing things at Clever Investor. I restructured their entire student onboarding process. I made sure that, you know, what I am a specialist at is making sure people get what they paid for, which is why my lead gen company is now so good. It's like, no, if they paid for this, I'm the guy who's responsible for them getting it. And then I made those tweaks. So to cut the story a little shorter is the things that were similar. Restaurant, everyone brings their problems to you. As an executive, everyone brings their problems to you. So I'm working at Clever and everyone's bitching about direct mail. Man, this shit sucks, man. Oh my God, $3,000, not a single phone call. The reason I created lead mining was one of their customers called me crying. She bought our program. It was expensive. And then she sent out direct mail, as we told her to, as she should have. Right. No one did anything wrong here. And she said, my phone didn't ring once. And she's in tears. She's like, I'm out of money.
Right.
This was it. This was all I had. And what she just described to me was almost $33,000 between the coaching and the investment. And that was half my salary. That's not a fucking joke to me.
Right.
You know what I mean? I'm not some millionaire going, suck it up, buttercup. I'm like, what did you just say? Oh my God. And this is how you feel? And so I was like, we got to fix this. This pain to entry point is too great.
Right.
And then I realized, what's free? What's free? Oh, I'm already paying Verizon every month.
Yeah.
Oh shit. So I started teaching everybody to dial by hand in the entire community. You got enough money? Direct mail. You don't have enough money? Dial by hand. Don't even get a dialer yet. Dial by hand. And it changed the entire culture of everyone started closing deals with little to no money. But what I learned too is people needed support. So when that career came to an end, I had already proven cold calling to myself. I never made a cold call in my life. You do it, right? You know? Right. So when I retired, that's a great way to put it.
How did that go? I mean, why did you retire?
They didn't like me.
Too much energy?
And I'm okay with talking about it, just so you know.
Okay.
But, you know, they didn't like me. I came from restaurants. I had one executive tell me, you got to stop talking about restaurants. You sound stupid.
Oh, my God.
Dude, I was so fucking pissed. I said, what did you just say to me? Restaurants are good for 2 reasons. One, everyone's been to one. So we all can relate to restaurant stories. 2, imagine like crushing it in the oil field and you come out in a very similar field and you're like, yeah, like it's all hospitality. We're just taking care of people here. And it was rough. And I wasn't the best, maybe at like rubbing. I wasn't the best to be insensitive to other executives. In restaurants, my boss went to me, "You're fucking up, bro.
Yeah.
Straighten your shit."
Yeah.
Like restaurants are construction yards. Like you fucking get tough quick, and if you don't, you quit. You know. And so, but offices, didn't you see my door was shut? Hey, I don't give a fuck. I got a question.
Yeah.
The fuck are we doing here? You know. So they would have me in meetings, and I would ask questions. And what I realized is really important lesson for anyone in a career right now. When you ask questions your bosses don't, that's a problem.
Oh, definitely. Definitely. Look, same way in the oil field, exact same way. It has to be their idea.
Yeah.
It has to, like, you have to lead them down the path. This is a pretty basic physics. Like, there's an old saying in the oil field, if you get stuck going up, you go down. Okay? If you get stuck going down, you go up. And it's like some weird rule of thumb that doesn't really apply to physics. So if I'm drilling a hole in the ground, the inside of this can's a hole, I'm drilling the hole, okay? This is all dirt. The dirt's coming up through the mud on the outside. So if I pull up into that dirt, I'm still pumping fluid down below, and it's going to pressurize down here.
Yeah.
You're going to have a lot of pressure, okay? And you've got a check valve in the middle of your pipe, so the pressure can't go nowhere. So they got stuck 10 feet off bottom, right? And it created so much pressure, it blew the pump. And these are big pieces of iron. It blew the pump apart. And I was like, the pressure's trapped below us. We got stuck coming up, but we can't go down. There's pressure down there. We have to come up.
Yeah.
There's no going down.
Right.
There's
We're at this
pressure
point
down
of
there.
no return here.
Yes, right. and I'm the person on location, right? I'm the human on location, but when you get stuck, it's an expensive operation. You got to do some other things. And so your boss ends up intervening. And of course, the old school way is like, so we're trying to go down. So we're trying to beat this thing down. And so they did this all day. I was working nights, so I was asleep. And anyways, I was there at night, and we're still trying to beat this thing down. We're just bang, bang. I mean, it's a tedious process, but we're just beating on it. We had to get another crew out. I mean, it's expensive. So anyways, the district manager comes out, and this is a bad deal because your boss is not the district manager. That's your boss's boss, right? And you're doing what your boss and every bit of oilfield logic says, you got to go down.
Right.
So we're beaten down. And so the district manager comes up and I said, hey, riddle me this. We blew our pump apart. We got a float in the hole. How can we go down? There's 6,000 pounds of pressure down there.
Right.
Like how are we going to go down?
Right.
And he thinks and he goes, you're right. We need to go up. And it was his idea, right? So he's like, jar up on it. So we started jarring up on it. It comes loose.
Yeah.
3 jars. Boom, boom, boom. They've been working on this for 15 hours, right? But it was his idea. Had it been my idea, you know what I mean? Everybody would have shot it down. But since it was his idea, he's like, oh, yeah, everybody's like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it has to be their idea. You cannot be, it's like, you know, and I'm a smart guy, but I'm not ever really the smartest guy. But that made sense to me, but I couldn't approach my boss with it.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
those, like every time I try to talk to him about something like that, he's just like,
Yeah, right.
Look, kid,
and you
calm
almost
down.
fight on that. And then you almost bring death to your point.
Right.
Because now now they can't go back on no.
Right.
Then you know it's like, well, I already said no.
Right. So I just like, hey, look, we got pressure down there. We blew the pump apart.
Yeah.
We got a float in the hole. He's like, ding. And it's a district manager. He don't have as much invested, right? And he's got a much bigger stroke, so he can say, go up, go down, go sideways, go whatever way you want to go.
Says, right?
You know what I mean? So whatever you say you're going to do,
Yeah.
but you know, it's like you saved the day, but I didn't save the day. I mean, and technically I did, but I didn't get any credit.
Yeah, right.
The district manager comes out and he saves the day.
He's the hero, yeah.
He's the hero. Right. So I get exactly what you mean.
Yeah, so you know, and I definitely learned that the hard way through them, and you know, I made some mistakes, but I was so thankful. I remember his father was the CFO at the time, and I went in and I was like, man, I got some really good ideas for this company, but they're not listening to me. Right? Like I got really good ideas, and I can really take us to the next level, bro. And you know what it is? I thought he threatened to fire me. I'm gonna tell you exactly what he said. I thought it was a threat to be fired. He said, sounds like you're on your way to, he said, sounds like you're on the path to entrepreneurship. And I was like, did he just threaten to fire my ass?
What does that mean?
Is he about to say I'm unemployed and I need to figure it out soon? And the way I separated from there is because there was like some feuds, I was like, hey, like, let me work from home. You know, why would I come in here and piss people off that don't like me?
Right.
I'll work from home. I won't piss anybody off. And I said, you can cut my pay and you can let me work from home. And they said yes. They cut my pay by 50%. I started working from home.
Damn.
But what they didn't know is that my job was so systematized, I only had
A couple hours a day.
a couple hours a day of work. And one of the deals I made with the owner, which was brilliant, was I was like, I'm going to go home and I'm going to invest in real estate. And I'll go live in our community every day, and do these cold calls live in front of the community. So for 60 days, I went in and I called every day for an hour and live on the thing.
Right.
And then that was really the beginning of lead mining. These people, they the first customer the week of my birthday, 7 years ago. Hey, man, so I saw you cold calling. I'm a cop. I'm in South Florida. Could you call for me? Yeah, $200, $200 a week. Bam. And I was doing all the calls myself. And my pricing now, I just did my first price raise in 7 years. It's now $225 for the same amount of work. But that was exactly the start of lead mining. And it was making a commitment, going out on a limb, going to my boss and requesting something unorthodox. This wasn't now. Work from home's normal now.
Okay.
7 years ago?
Yeah, no.
No, not at all. But so it's like, there's a couple of things in my story I'll just point out is like, taking a chance, working really hard, and then giving your boss a proposition. We often underestimate, just ask. If you really have a dream, you need time for that dream. But my restaurant career took every ounce of my freedom. Right. Every ounce. There was no, I'm be creative on the weekend. No, there was no weekend. I was toast. So you have to make the time to do it. So then I founded Lead Mining. And what I did with Lead Mining was I was the only employee. That's one thing, they asked me, what do you want to be called? Are you the CEO? I was like, I'm the founder, motherfucker. That's what I am. Because I built this bitch brick by brick myself, and that's not common. I was the only cold caller. I was the marketer. I was the one sending invoices. I was doing all of it. And, through that, I ended up one day, the day I quit, I made a post on Facebook in Alex Youngblood's group, Wholesaling Houses. Full time. I'm banned in that group.
I'm banned in there too.
We're so much alike.
We're banned.
We're long lost brothers. but I'm banned in that group because he didn't like. He realized I was making more money than him.
We're still friends on Facebook.
Yeah. No, he sends customers to me.
That's fucking wild.
He sends customers to me.
It's fucking wild.
People come in like, yeah, Alex told me to come your way. I'm like, that son of a bitch.
It's so weird.
I got PTSD. I think it's like the threat, right? It's like it's like they're not fully secure,
right?
In a sense, like I can't let this any kind of poison in.
Yeah,
because I said direct mail. This guy says cold call.
Right.
That ain't right. That's not what I said. But I made a post in this group and I said, hey guys, I never do this, but we're doing it different. We're all American cold callers. That post got 300 comments, 300 likes, and the next day I signed up 20 people. And the next day the post was deleted, ironically. I'll actually just get into that briefly. Everyone commented. The post blew up. It was Sunday.
Right.
And I was like, everyone started commenting emails. That's all everyone used to do. There wasn't. Yeah. Now there's engagement. Back then there's like email.
And then they got the bots to start scraping the emails, and then now nobody will post the email anymore.
That's right. Yeah, no one does that. That's such a good point too. But everyone starts commenting their email. So I'm like, I don't even have anything. Like all I had to send was what was on the post. Like I don't have anything else. And so I create like these 9 bullet points, and I just email every person. I stay up till 3 a.m. 297 people got emailed that day. I was so excited to wake up the next day. I was like, oh, how many comments? Post not there. Post not there. But I signed up 20 people that day. And the important part of that story is if I would have waited, I'll wait till Monday.
Yeah.
I'll get to everybody on Monday. I literally would not be netting $1 million this year.
Oh no, you gotta take advantage of the opportunity and the window of the opportunity.
Yeah. Just like you flew out. I was telling you earlier. You're like, you flew out from Florida? And I was like, when people like Corey call, you answer. And, you know, and that 7 years later, you know, I'm still doing the same thing. But that was the beginning of lead mining. I signed up those 20 people. I called my boss at Clever, and I said I quit. I probably quit too soon, to be completely honest with you. But yeah, and we've been crushing it ever since.
How'd you get into data? Like, so the back then, like skip tracing, I mean, the term skip tracing, I don't even think then was
Prevalent.
Was a term. I mean,
No
I don't
one
even
was
think
cold
like
calling.
like Propelio, the shirt's right here. So I never will forget Daniel Moore. You know, I was telling him what I was doing, and he goes, or you could just skip trace those people and drop them all in RVM. And I was like, what's skip trace and what's RVM? You know what I mean? Because it wasn't talked about on the internet.
Right.
It wasn't like out there.
Yeah.
You know, so it was like there was these sites that you could go to that were all jankety.
Fiverr people.
Well, yeah, it was. I mean, it was really hard to like. You Google skip tracing, nothing really came up. Or you know, you'd put your credit card in and nothing would happen. There was a guy that was I don't even remember the names of the sites honestly, but I mean, you would just get some weird ass shit.
That's right.
So how did you get into that? How did you crack that barrier?
Well, so that was the beauty of Clever again, you know, working with one of the students brought me, Alyssa Kowalski, you know, huge shout out. You know, she brought me skip tracing. She's been around forever, you know, and we got lists at the time through RealFlow at Clever. They just made a deal with RealFlow, so we had the data, right? RealFlow is great. We use them in our lead mining data. Highly recommend for houses. I don't recommend for land. Okay, but highly recommend for houses. Great data, and so we used RealFlow, and then one of the students was like, "Hey, we use these guys for skip tracing." And because I had to make it easy for the students, right? So like it was cool. Like literally, what she brought to me, I brought to the student body. And then I basically brought it to the masses afterward, right? Like,
right? No, you did. Yeah. I mean, you definitely did, because it was like, you know, the Batch and all these other companies didn't exist then. Right. They weren't even established. They weren't founded. Yeah. So you could do one-off skips, but bulk skip tracing was extremely difficult to find.
Yeah,
extremely difficult to find. And then there was something called data appendage. I don't even remember.
Yeah.
But
so supposedly skip tracing is like the super deep credit bureau,
right.
And then just getting a phone number. What we do is technically data appending, because it's only a phone number,
right?
Technically, right? So that is, and the skip tracing is like what you might see from Skip Genie, which is like I think $99 a month, and then 25 cents a skip. I mean, that guy's got to be sitting on couches made of cash for selling data.
Well, but the benefit of Skip Genie, and I'm not the benefit of Skip Genie, and it's absolutely worth the money, because you get smart credits, and you get so many skips, you get say 500 a month. Yeah. But if I've got a family, so one of the deals that we got off yours, they've got missing heirs.
Yes.
You can now go in and search those missing heirs, and it brings up their whole family tree.
Yeah. Oh.
And it gives you the caller ID. So you're not, you know, there's 25 numbers there. You do you got to buy smart credits, but you do the caller ID search. Now you're calling Sarah. You're not calling 25 numbers to find Sarah.
Got it.
So it really is.
Well, and that's why to people I recommend, like, I need a deep dive. It's Skip Genie, hands down. Because even back in the day, you would get their errors. I think they'd even give you, I felt like they even would give you like socials. Like what he's created is the definition of skip tracing, right?
Right.
And then what I do,
but it's just one off. There's no bulk skip tracing.
That's exactly right. It's like, hey, I got this. So you get the lead from us. Then you can't get them on the phone. Then you go to Skip Genie.
You can call their neighbors.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's there's you need all these tools. You got to have them all. But yes, I mean, it is a benefit, and there's some things you can do. There's some very expensive lists that you can buy from them. So what they'll do is they tell you if the person that you skip traced is deceased.
Yeah, that's right.
And then they will compile the list of deceased heirs. So you can get their whole family tree their addresses and phone numbers.
I think they're the only one that even does that.
Yes. So, I mean, like, it's like, look, if you find this house and then you look up the owner and you do a one-off skip on them and they're deceased, you know, because you can't get mail and you can't get a cold call to a dead guy. Right. They'll give you the heirs and all their addresses. So now you can direct mail and text and market them. So, like, I mean, that's a list that we're going to send to you. We're going to buy that expensive list in that county, and then we're going to send it to you. But, I mean, that's something you got to do. Like, I mean, it's not offered on their website. Like, you just got to email them and ask them. And I don't even remember what it's called, but I mean, it's crazy expensive because, I mean, you can imagine how many people could be associated with a human being that aren't correct, right?
Yeah.
They just somehow co-signed for them a car once or something, and so they're somehow associated with them.
That's what I tell people, too. A lot of people are like, I just have an address. I'm like, we can skip trace just an address, but your quality is going to be affected. Right? It's like basically skip tracing is like triangulation, right? You get the address and you get the name and you get the zip code, and then that helps us make sure. Just an address means any renter could pop up, or anyone ever associated with that address could pop up, as opposed to throwing in the name gives you that. I call it like a triangulation.
Yeah, the county data essentially, which is what it's gone to now. I mean, I think ListSource was the only one for a while, and I don't know. Spoonie loves all this jargon. He'd be great because he's like, it's core logic. It's core logic data. Yeah. And I'm like, what? And he's like, it's all core logic data. And I'm like, okay. Yeah. Okay, Spoonie. But they're getting it from they're ripping it from the county appraisal district websites. That's where they're getting it from.
Got it.
And that's why you said one is good for houses but isn't good for land. The reason why it isn't good for land is because land doesn't have an address.
You know, what's funny is RealFlow told me that they use core logic, so it actually is that. It's that exact logic, right? That works. It's like it doesn't have that. And so for land, I use data tree, just so everyone knows, so that we at least address that. Right. So for land, I do use data tree. They're the best out there. I do resell it, but you could get it from them. It's cheaper for me because I pay enough to make it cheaper for both of us, if that makes sense. And that's really all my business is. Like, if you really break down what I do. And that's really what every business is I buy it in bulk, whether it's from employees or companies, right? And then I arbitrage it to you. I mean, I could call my business whatever it is. The unique thing we do is I'm kind of like an invention the way I package it all up.
Dude, it's the easy button.
Right.
That's what it is. It's the easy button. You're ready to buy back your time. You're making money. You're a solopreneur. You got questions on the screen right here. We got any lead gen tracking tips for newbie solopreneur, emails, networking, face-to-face, etc.
Yeah, lead gen tracking tips. So I recently had a customer, I meet with everybody. So I recently had a customer say, Nick, I'm losing them. You know, I'm like, you got 70 leads. Right. Tell me what happened. I don't have any contracts. Okay, why don't you have any contracts? Right? Oh, well, I don't know. Okay, great. So here's what I told her. So to answer your question, you want to know the process. So what I told her was, I was like, leads generated, people you got back on the phone, offers that were sent out, offers that were accepted, and offers that were signed. And accepted and signed, any veteran knows, are two totally different things.
Right.
Yes, I'll do that. Okay, here's the piece of paper.
They won't sign.
Yeah, sign that motherfucker, now we're talking. Okay, so now when you track these where the numbers break, I got 80 leads. I only got 10 on the phone. Okay, that's our first problem. What are we doing wrong to not get people on the phone?
Well, we can help. You ready? What would you do, Braxton?
If we can't get them on the phone,
you call somebody, they don't answer. What's the next step?
Call them again.
Double dial. So right now, everybody has do not disturb on. So double dial will get you around the do not disturb.
Really?
Yes. So you call them right back.
It's like 2 calls. If you call a second time within like a minute or something, it'll actually ring.
It'll actually ring. So you double dial. Wow. What do you do if they don't answer the second call?
Leave a message on the
second call. Leave a voicemail. Leave a voicemail.
100% of the time.
On the voicemail, leave your contact info. Say your phone number on the voicemail. Yeah. Okay? Everybody reads voicemails. Okay?
That's right.
They don't. I'm telling you. Hey, this is Corey Thompson. Don't even tell them what you're calling about. Just, I'm Corey Thompson. I'm trying to get in touch with you. If you could, call me back at 979-777. On the second or third voicemail, you can tell them why you're calling, right? But on the first one, just leave it vague. Because if they're getting beat up on this property, if it's property, they've got 10 other voicemails that are about that property.
Right, yeah.
They don't know what you're calling about. So be different.
Yeah. Got it.
So
Love that.
what do you do if you don't, they didn't answer the second time. What are you about to do?
After that, they're getting a text and a selfie video.
Selfie video.
In the
Got-
text.
Yes. Like
you
just whip
take out your phone. Hey,
front-facing camera.
take a video of yourself. Send it to them. Why? What do people not want to talk to?
A robot.
They don't want to talk to a robot
Or a foreign person.
or a foreign person.
Scammers. That's
They don't want to talk to a
perception.
scammer.
No offense, any foreign people.
Yeah, I mean, look, it just is what it is.
Right.
Send the selfie video. If you start sending the selfie video, then tell me that out of the 50 that you didn't get a hold of, however many.
Right.
How many did you still not talk to?
Yeah.
Right.
I love that.
They
So-
will respond to the selfie video almost every time.
Wow.
Right.
They might not be mad. They might not be happy with you. They'll be mad. They'll be like, "Oh, you're weird," whatever.
Right.
But it's like they
But
will
the,
respond.
the response is what
Absolutely.
you're looking for.
And if you're handsome like Chuck, you'll get a fatty every once in a while that tries to get you into the throttle. That did happen. That happened.
That did happen.
That did happen.
Yeah, right, because they got the video. Hey, young man.
Yeah,
oh, my God.
Like, hey, what'd you say? Do you like any big alt bitches?
Yeah.
She's like, are you down with big alt bitches and thropples? And I was like, you got to go for that, Chuck.
Yeah.
You got to go.
And
For
she-
that.
Actually,
Yeah,
Chuck,
wants-
if you don't continue this, you're no longer working.
They want
You have
to.
to follow up with that lead.
You got to do an example selfie video.
Absolutely.
Selfie video, Chuck, about a throuple. So, but those techniques. Now, I'm going to tell you exactly where I learned that. I learned that on Card on You. So, Card on You for a single individual is $99 a month.
Wow.
I mean, it takes 8 to 12 touches to close a deal. That's just industry average. So if you're not getting these people on the phone 8 to 12 times, right? So you're touch number one. I mean, you still got to follow up with them up to 11 more
Well,
times.
let's focus on that real quick. So what you just said, I think, flipped that statement on the head. People think that it's 8 to 12 touches before they become a lead. That's the mistake. Oh, I love that you just said that. But it's actually like the lead, then 8 to 12 touches.
To
And
get
I
a
think
contract.
That's a mindset shift because everyone's like, call them 15 times to get them up. Like on the
No.
first lead, no, that's now a pissed off.
Yeah,
You're
no.
going to start in a deficit, and that's
Right.
oh, I love that. That's
No, it's going to take you 8 to 12 calls. I mean, the deal we just closed, we were
Post-lead.
probably on the phone with them people 10 different times, going over every little thing. And at any point in time, it could have, it felt like it wasn't going our way, and we could have got discouraged and not called back.
Yeah.
Because that's what happens most of the time. You just in your own head, you know what I mean? But you just gotta call them one more time, let them know you're still interested.
and I gotta
It's the same as dating.
Yeah.
It's, I mean, if you got a hot girl and you're trying to, you're like, look at the dudes that send, hey, 75 fucking times to the same girl. That guy needs to be in your industry. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Because,
right.
or in our industry, because it's like
Persistence.
Yeah, it's persistence. I mean, you have to, if you're not pursuing them, somebody else is at all times.
And another great point. So this one be like, first a couple things. I can't get anybody on the phone. Well, first of all, I already know you've only called them once,
Right.
just by you saying that. Okay.
Right.
Second of all, that is a great sign of distress. You know what that means? Everyone else is quitting on the first time they don't answer too.
Right.
The harder they are to reach, the better of a lead it is, and the more other wholesalers fail to progress
Right.
through their system. That's number one. The second part is my first contract ever, personal. My
Right.
first contract. Because when I started cold calling, it was so I could get a deal. It wasn't so I could create lead mining. This guy says yes, signs the contract. I call him, doesn't answer. After he signed it, call him, doesn't answer. Call him. It became a daily joke. Let's call Joe today.
Yep.
4 weeks later,
He finally
he
answers.
answers. And every day, when you said you get in your head, you think, oh, this motherfucker's going to let me have it.
Yeah.
Every day you call him, oh, he's going to be so mad at
Yeah,
me.
yep.
No, they don't carry that energy.
No.
He picked up and he said, Nick, I thank you so much for following up with me. My son was in a horrible accident, and we've been in the hospital every day for the last several weeks.
Yep.
He says, if you'll just give me one more week, man, we're going to get through this. And I love how much you've been calling me. I'm selling you this property, man.
Right.
Is what he said to me.
And that happens too all the time. It's like, it's hey, I've had XYZ going on. I haven't forgot about you.
Dude, 100%.
Working
Right.
through this.
Well, and then when you're also busy as fuck, guess what? Like, I have people I want to hire all the time. And if they don't follow up with me, I'm too fucking busy.
Right.
But that shows I actually need them, because if what I'm hiring them for frees up time,
Yeah.
then so it's like, this is why follow up is so important.
Follow up is so important, and I mean that's like, you know, I mean I can go through all of our data. I mean our CRM, we use REI Black Book. It's not the I don't want to I'm not dogging them. It's the interface is just a little,
I've noticed.
you know, it's like whatever.
It's great at functioning, but it's not pretty.
Yes.
Right.
And so but we set up follow-ups. So I mean, I'm in the follow-up, so I get a text and an RVM every single week because I'm in the follow-up. So all of our dead leads still get text and followed up with long after we forget about them, because we get busy doing other things. We're podcasting now, doing that, but the CRM is, and you can add that function when you can afford it, but until you can afford it, you've got to have a system. You got to have a Google sheet. You got to have something that you're going over every day, to where you're looking at it and saying, okay, when's the last time I talked to them? Because that's what we do in leasing and other things. It's like we know the last time we talked to them, we got the note there of what they said, you know, so you're following up with them. So you got to build that out on your own. That SOP is really important. Michael Kennedy wants a shout out. So hi, Big Mike. So Light Leaks wants an example of the selfie video.
We'll do that.
Braxton. So this live is
It's awesome.
Light Leaks. Are you male or female? I get a female vibe.
Light Leaks, it can be this simple. What's going on, Chuck? I'm here with Corey. We're trying to get in touch with you.
About a throuple.
Particularly a throuple. So give me a call back whenever you can. 254-563. I won't put the last four.
Yeah, I was about to say you're about to get that throuple.
So you can put something like that on. You can personalize it. You can say, hey, specifically like trying
This
to get in touch
property.
with you about this. But one thing, we never say addresses, and a lot of times we won't even say town names if it's something we don't know for sure how to say. Because if you mispronounce the street name right out the gate, like that's
You don't
that's
live
it.
here.
You
Right.
got to know. You've already got to know, right? So I'm calling you about a property in Hood County, right?
Yeah.
We don't even mention the address because it's like, and the best answer to that is which one. I've got several. I'm interested in all of them.
Yeah, right.
So our cold calling is a lot different because we don't give a pop quiz. We're like, do you have interest in selling? Well, I might sell one of them. Okay, which one might you consider selling? Well, you know, I got one over on Bush Avenue or whatever. And you're like, okay, great. What's the address? We're sitting in front of Propelio. We put it in. Boom. We got the comps up, and we're like, you know, we're like, what do you take for it? And if they won't give us a number, they're like, you call me, make an offer. We offer them 50% of what we think it's worth right off the bat. Just
Right.
boom.
Yeah.
Half
If
of
it's
what,
on me, this is what you're hearing.
And if we don't have, if we can't get good comps, then we look at the tax value and offer them half a tax value. And then now the ball's in their court and they say, oh, I'll take this, no matter what that number is. I mean, same process that y'all seem to have. No, I wouldn't take 50. I'll only take 70. Great. What's an email address? I'm going to send a contract over to you right now.
Right.
And then we put the contract in. We're still on the phone with them when we send it. So we're like, you should have a contract in your email. Let's go over it.
Wow.
So if you're not that prepared, like all those people that I see online cold calling and saying, well, let me get back to you and all that, you're just opening a window for somebody else to
error,
slide in,
right.
for doubt to creep in. You've got them. It's same thing. That Sunday, you had all those people commenting. You emailed all those people. It's the same thing right then. Get the contract in their email. If they've got time, great. How much time do you got? Do you got, you know,
Right.
you need to ask
Wanna
them how
go
much
over
time they
this?
have. You
Yeah,
got
right,
time?
right.
I'm going to send you a contract right now. It won't take me 2 seconds. Boom, boom, boom. Send it to them. Now, if you got any questions, let's go over it. It's in DocuSign. You can sign it. It's ready. Typically, they'll start throwing out landmines in. Not really objections, but just landmines. And you talk to my husband. You talk to my sister. Well,
Right,
I only own a third of it. That's no problem. You can sign this contract, and then we can deal with the other people. We try to get them to sign right then. Very rarely does that ever happen, to be 100% honest.
Right.
But you need to be that prepared, because
Right.
when the next guy calls, right, he's not going to be that prepared.
That's right.
They're already got my contract. Now, this leads to them shopping your contract a lot, right? And they're going to shop your contract. Wholesalers are going to hate us. But
That's the downside of being eager, right? Is they go, oh, I got something.
Yeah.
Oh, I must have something.
Yeah.
They're merely making sure, but it's like, but I really get that.
well, they'll take your contract and they'll go to somebody else that called them. But when they call us back, I'll say, look, that person's probably a wholesaler. You know, if they won't put down, look at our contract. It's got $1,000 earnest money. What does theirs have? $10?
Right.
You know what I mean? So I've yet to have to send $1,000 earnest money, but just because I put $1,000 earnest money on the contract gives me credibility over the guy that's putting $10 earnest money.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
So you just do it a different way to where you can overcome that, because it's like you kind of explain to them the process, and it's like, look, and we're that on it right then. If we get them on the phone, we're ready to send a contract.
It's service, right? And I think
Yes.
that this is why like lead mining is, I think, superior too, is because anyone could cold call, anybody, but it's about the service. It's about, you call the phone number on the website. It's my cell phone. My cell, it's actually rang 3 times already. It's probably customers going to the website, but it's like, you get me. It's the service that's provided. And then what the other thing you spoke to is when the next guy's not as prepared, that doesn't just mean you win, but they're going to remember you. Well, who was that young man who walked me through the whole, man,
Yeah.
they were on it. Wow. It's like when you go into a hotel or you go to a restaurant and there's amazing service, guess what? How much things matter less.
Right.
All of a sudden, well, hey, I got a rub. I got a back rub. They just came
Yeah.
up to me and they, oh, well, this place is $1,000 a night. Well, look at all this shit I got. And they
Yeah.
carried my luggage for me. And it's like you start to, and that's the same, that's where you want the seller, not on the price,
Right.
but on what you're doing, right?
What we can, with the service that we can provide. And that's
right.
really what we overcome. We're like, and that's really what we can provide. Paul has $50K to invest in real estate. What would you guys do? I'd buy a $20,000 trailer house, put 10 in it, rent it for $1,000 a month. That's what I'd do, Paul.
Nice.
So, hey, if you're just joining, we're talking with Nick about lead gen, proper follow-up. We are live, so if you have any questions, drop them in the comments. Nick, been doing this 7 years. How many real estate transactions do you think you've been a part of? How many dials, how many people do you think you've called?
Oh, man. So right now we're calling 60,000 people a week
Jesus.
right now.
That's insane.
It's crazy. My team is so strained. Like, we just hired 3 new. We don't hire that much because one great employee can actually handle a lot.
Right.
Right. They really, like, if someone's like, I'm working 30 hours a week, that's a lot of dials. That's, off the top of my head, that's probably like 4,000 extra dials a week that are
Right.
getting knocked out. But our labor every week, you know, I have like a $10,000 a week expense on cold callers.
Wow.
That's what I have. I mean, we're doing about 35,000 in sales, so it's good. But yeah, it's like when you think about all that, and the funny thing about the deals is people tell. I offer free group coaching now.
Right.
And I have this woman come on, and you don't really know until you get them in the. And she's like, "Man, Nick, you were a part of my first 3 deals, and man, I used your service." And it's like, man, I wish that they'd call me every time.
Right.
And it's just, I'm a celebrator, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, and I do want to know. I can tell because no one ever asked for a refund. No one really ever complained. So like, I can tell that there's extreme value in it. But I don't get to hear about. I had one customer spend $305, message me 7 months later, Nick, I'm ready to get back in. You know, I made $35,000 on that. Now, here's the downside. I don't have contracts or commitments. Now, that's an upside for you. That's a downside for some people. That guy spent $300 and made $35,000. I was like, why did you stop?
Hey, I told Braxton this day one. I told Braxton, I said, money will not motivate people.
Yeah.
It will have the opposite effect. I've seen people that have came to work with us get a big paycheck and disappear for a month, come back when they're broke.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm shocked by it. I'm like,
What a
dude,
great
you
point.
lost all your momentum.
Yeah.
Like you're
starting over again.
Yeah, you just like you had enthusiasm, you were excited. You know what I mean?
You
Now
had to
you're-
get defeated. You got broke. You're
now
defeated.
you're broke. You're defeated.
you're
you're back down. I said you lost all your momentum. I said it's been the curse that I've seen in this industry
It's
because
the lump sum curse.
but there's a lot of money for someone. Everyone's got whatever a lot of money is. You know what I mean? If I gave you $1 billion,
right? Everyone has their.
You'd probably. You know what I mean? You'd probably fuck off.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
right,
It's
right.
like you would lose your momentum.
Yeah.
Everybody's got that number. I don't know where my number is, but everybody has that number. And you know, I grew up broke, so I'm running from I'm running from trauma. It's like I'm
never going back.
I'm never like I'm
terrified to be broke ever again. Amen.
So it's like I stay broke, but I'm not broke. You know what I mean? It's like I make it a habit to stay broke.
Yeah.
But I'm not broke.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like I don't need liquid cash laying around. I don't need any of that. I just buy another house. You know, let it start dripping money into my account. But you know, I mean, I'm about to set my kids up to where they're gonna buy 2 rental properties on deals that we're doing. We're gonna buy them 2 rental properties. They're gonna be in their LLC, and I'm gonna start building that portfolio for them. They'll fuck it off, no doubt, but I don't care. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like
You're still doing what's right.
Well, that's my life insurance policy. It's like, you know what I mean? It's just peace of mind. Like now they've got this real estate. You know, a lot of things can happen to me, but that real estate's insured. You know what I mean? That real estate will provide income for years to come. That real estate will be a payday for them in the future when they decide to sell it or get old enough that they can. But either way, that's something that you know, I'm like, no, I'm not going back to broke. I'll go broke, buy a house, but I will not go broke.
Right. I'll see the bank account dip below $50,000. Right?
Yeah.
But I'm not right. Yeah. But there's more coming.
But yeah. So anyways, how do you stay motivated? What motivates you?
You know, I'll be honest with you. At this point, man, my customers, like, you know, we don't. You talked about, I think, working last night. How you're like, all I want to do is fucking work. Like, working is the fun part, not the fucking off part.
Yeah.
And it's like, I recently went to Phoenix for 10 days, and I didn't take that many sales calls because I was out there. And then I stayed for an extra 5. It was 5 days, and I stayed for an extra 5.
Right.
So the first 5 days, no sales calls. And, you know, I was just like, kind of like in like a funk a little bit. And then the sales call, a day comes up where I talk to all my customers. Oh my God, these fucking people cheer me. I literally hang up several times a day, be like, I got the best customers.
Yeah.
I got the best customers. Like, they're all in such a good mood. I can tell you, when you provide that service that you talked about, whether it's a seller or a customer or an employee, bro, like, people call me so happy. They don't even know me yet. But when they heard from you that things went good, and another friend that things went good, and I can't even tell you, people have been like, what you said earlier, Nick, I'd never heard a bad word. I've actually seen your name brought up 20 fucking times. I'm finally ready. Let's do, like, how can that person start off negative? So my why in the beginning was, when I was a cook in the restaurant industry, I wanted to be a manager. I became a manager. That sucked. After I was a manager, I wanted to be an executive. I became an executive. That story sucked. I told that earlier. Then I wanted to be an entrepreneur, right? Because that was the one thing that was left. So in the beginning, that was my motivation. I'm out of fucking choices. I was blue collar, and I'm working my way up to white, and I'm just fucking working my way up there. And you know what? And I felt like I was running out of options. So that was my initial motivation. Now it's shifted 7 years in. It's keep throwing coal in the fire, keep doing what I know works every day. And one thing I've really found out is going to Phoenix really changed my life, because I have like all these daily habits I do. Right. And when you're traveling for 10 days, I'm a 4-day travel guy, max. Okay, I'm gonna go away, come back, be back by day 5. But you start to lose, and I remember like, why am I so fucking grumpy out here, man? But we take for granted the things we do in our day-to-day routines and stuff that make us happy. So now my new why is make sure I balance work and life and happiness, and then to keep it all synergistic. It's really my main motivator now. And you know, I mean, I'm 39. I can see the wrinkles on these damn cameras at way too high definition. Can we get lower definition on me, please?
580p.
Yeah, but I'm getting older, so you know the next goal is to prepare for a family.
Yeah,
you know?
Dude. I've had kids. Not typical way people have kids. I just be getting people pregnant, you know. But dude, the like consistency they provide in my life, it's like I don't have to think about tomorrow. I know exactly what I have to do tomorrow.
Yeah,
like
right.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like they provide
It's
consistency.
like anchoring.
I can be an energy vampire with those little bastards that, you know, I'm
Right.
like, man, they're just so positive.
Yeah,
They just
right.
see everything with new eyes and you're
Yeah.
like, man, this is great. You know, it like people that say their kids are their why, like I don't necessarily know about that. You know what I mean? I don't like, I would never put that much pressure on my kids, but they are the ultimate motivator from, you just see your son say a word for the first time. You're like, wow, that's great.
Dude,
You know what I mean? Like
yeah.
that's just, I can't describe it. Like,
Yeah.
it's like, wow, bro's coming on. You
It's
know what I
we
mean?
live for. You know, it wasn't until my dad died about like 15 months ago. And it wasn't until he died that I was like, damn, do I need a kid? I need something to love me as much as I loved him.
Oh, yeah.
And you know, and it's like when your parents do die, especially if they I was very lucky with my father, and I know a lot of people weren't. But when my father died, I learned actually 10 times more from him, because I was like, dude, this man raised me intentionally. Like, you don't even see when you're a kid, you're like, yeah, it's my dad.
Yeah.
And then he passed away, you're like, he chose to fight with. I remember, my dad fought with me over going to soccer. I literally put myself in his shoes. Your kid signs up for soccer. I get up now. I'm fighting with you. Let me tell you what. If my kid signs up for soccer, I don't want to fucking go either. We're staying home, you little shit. My dad will fight with me for 2 fucking hours every Saturday. Dude, the balls on that man. I would have quit. I would have let my kid quit.
No,
you know, and so it's like when you look back and you see that shit,
dude, it's
powerful.
It's different. I mean, I can't say it enough. I'm like, you got to keep that commitment. Your teammates are depending on you. You know, it's not just you.
Yeah.
I don't care how you feel. Get dressed. We're going. It's 5 a.m. You're whiny. I've got your brother.
And once we get out there, that's the thing.
Yeah, you're going to have fun once you get out there. But me and your brother are going to be in the fucking sun. He's going to be a psychopath. I'm going to be a 40-year-old fucking falling around a 3-year-old, not even getting to really watch you play. You know what I mean? Like, trying to keep him. He's funny. He's a bro. We were on the boat this weekend, and my niece bought a couple of her friends. These are like, one's like an 18-year-old girl, the other's like a 15-year-old girl, and they're wearing Buc-ee's swimsuits, so they've got beavers all over their swimsuits. And he's just running up to them, touching them in the most inappropriate places, and saying, "I love your beaver. I love your beaver." And I'm like, "Sir, quit. Stop."
I wish he wasn't
Stop.
acting so much like me.
Yeah, I'm like, stop. Stop. It's so inappropriate. Stop. Quit touching the girls. I love your beaver. I'm just like, oh my God, please, bro, chill out for a minute.
Where else can you get a wholesome, experience like that?
You can't. I'm like, it's innocent. It's completely innocent. He just loves the beaver. But I mean, it's like, all right, bro. But no, they're great. You'll enjoy that next phase of life for sure.
I'm pumped
So,
for it.
where can the people reach you? Where can they find you? Leadmine Pro?
Yeah, leadminingpros.com is the best way to do it. I know that
That's
there's some links in the chat. I am most active on Facebook. I know they're going to drop a link to my Facebook.
Yes.
I'm super engaged. It's actually me commenting. I post some crazy shit. Like, I woke up this morning and I did not know Pornhub was banned in Texas.
Oh, you found out the hard way.
Literally
you should have
the hard
texted
way.
me. You should have texted me. I would have. I know that there's a workaround.
You know what? And I woke up and I was like, no Pornhub, and I can't even start my day off right. I'm really fresh here. But I made that post on Facebook today. And so that's why I say, like, it's a real hoot.
Yeah.
I'm very similar to you. But check me out there. And if you're interested in the business, leadminingpros.com. I got live chat and a cell phone and a chance to book a call with me on the website. One thing I'll say about the book a call is I don't care if you buy. A lot of people are like, I feel like I should have canceled this call. I'm not ready. I don't give a fuck. Meet me.
Yeah.
I was a restaurant manager for 13 years. I want to meet everybody.
So I'll tell you this: we bought internet leads, and I'm not. They did phenomenal. Like they sent us leads. We got contracts. But there's, I don't know how to put it. Like, it's not niche targeted. It's
vague. It's shotgunned.
It's just shotgun. Like, you're getting $1 million homes and stuff like that. And it's like, you're getting a lot of retail leads, a ton of retail leads that are super expensive. The one thing about it is, which I sent you my data and y'all skip traced it. So I was able to say, I don't want anything worth more than $200,000, right? Because this is where I play. And the leads that we've gotten for half the spend that we spent, we've gotten twice the leads for half the spend.
Yeah. Wow.
And they're workable, manageable leads because we were able to filter that data down and get it just, this is our niche. This is what we like.
Yeah, everything in here is going to match up to some degree.
Yes.
There's not going to be $1 million mobile mobile home in this bitch.
Right. There's not going to be $1 million friggin', I don't know. We've had so many that I can't. We had a $2.5 million 20,000 square foot house next to mobile homes. Like,
we get anything with this.
Yeah, I'm like,
you got too rich in the wrong area, brother.
Yeah, and I was like, I don't know what you did here, but way to go, you know. So, anyways, but I've been extremely impressed. It's well worth the money if you're ready to buy your time back. The free coaching and everything is going to be super valuable for you if you're new. And then you make your first money, you're ready to buy your time back. You're better off looking at properties, evaluating deals, and doing what you're good at. Marketing your properties if you're a wholesaler than you are sitting there burning the cold calling all day.
Right. And that's, I think something important to note is lead gen is not real estate investing. And a very wise customer called me once and he was like, Nick, he bought the 10-week Titan. It's like our $7,000 package. And he said, Nick, you know what I love about this is even if I wake up and I don't feel like doing real estate today, you send me a lead.
Yeah.
And he goes, that's the one. He said, the other thing is I don't want to own a lead gen company. No. I want to own a real estate company. You know, and anyone who's had in-house people, you already know it's a nightmare. You know, we talked last night. You train someone for 6 months, they're great, and then one day they don't show up. You just lost 40 hours a week for 6 months of effort. Reset. Right. You can't at all transfer that to anybody else. It's gone now.
Yes.
And so it's like to manage that time and time again. That's what I'm from my restaurant career. It's not a fluke I'm doing this. My restaurant career taught me how to treat people respectfully, how to have them do dirty jobs and be happy. I actually accidentally alluded to that earlier.
Yeah.
But so it's like to focus on that, and then you do what you need to do, negotiate properties, talk to the sellers that want to sell. And the other thing is, you know, people, the real reason you pay us is because you don't want to get cussed out. You know, my employees, and you'd be surprised what females say. I had a female. So one of my female employees sent me a recording of her talking to another female seller. And she goes, hey, I was calling about the... Why don't you suck my dick, bitch? A woman told a woman. And she's like, Nick, this is... And, you know, my employee sent this to me, I think, to vent a little bit.
Yeah.
But she's like, this is what we deal with. And I just say, you know, thank you so much for dealing with that. But it's like, that's what you don't want to deal with.
Well, I have. Look, I'm telling you, the card on you. Look, I agree with you. You're not the first person to tell me that. You know, you can't do anything in disagreement, right? So people are mean to you, hateful. How many times have people been hateful to you? Hung up on them, call right back. Get them back on the phone.
Because you didn't return the energy.
Hey, you accidentally hung up on me.
Hey, you accidentally hung up on me. Get right back on the call and close the deal.
Wow. You called him back and said you accidentally hung up.
Tons of time.
Yeah.
Wow. Let's try this again, partner.
No, like, just, hey, look, we accidentally got disconnected. Get right back on the call. Because it's like, look, you got to want to talk to them more than they don't want to talk to you. Now, I'm not talking, like, from y'all's point of view, that's very, you know, y'all can't do that. But if you got a very specific deal, very, like, you know this house, you're familiar with it.
You're hunting.
You got to want to talk to them more than they want to talk to you. Call them right back.
Wow.
They say angry stuff to them, just agree with them. Look, you're not even the first person to tell me that.
Yeah.
I'm with you. Look, I'm calling about this house over here, and just control the call, right?
Right.
And they will say, well, look, you know, I'm just sorry. 20 people have called me about this.
Right.
They've been
got some
super
shit.
annoying. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I apologize. I don't normally act like that, but everybody, it's just been annoying. And, you know, this is the problem I have on selling that house.
Right.
I'm like, look, that's no problem for us. That could have been a problem for them, but that's not a problem for us.
Right.
We can get this deal closed. Yeah. So, I mean, look.
I love that.
Dude, it's a game, but this all came from training. We train You know, I don't train every day. I need to train every day. Braxton probably don't train every day, but our team trains every day.
Yeah.
We get on weekly calls, coaching calls with them, and it's leasing especially. Oh my God, the things we do in leasing.
Yeah.
They're so much fun. So, anyways, got anything else? Nick, you want to say anything else to the people?
You know, one thing I would just say is, you know, remember to keep like your attitude in check. You know, because I do speak to every fucking customer, and I really call me today. I don't.
You're calling out now.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. I don't get on my plane for another 3 hours, so you guys can call me today even. But I can tell you that anyone, and I understand the grumpiness. I understand the last VA ripped you off, and I'm not talking about that. But if your life view is everyone fucks me, you're not really in the right place yet.
No, you're not.
And we've all been there. It's not a knock. I'm not saying don't be that person, but work through that a little bit more before you go crazy in real estate. Because one of the big problems is is that negativity. I had a woman brand new call me up. Never met. I know this is going to work because my mentor referred me to you, and he only refers things that work. Her first day with us, she gets a lead. By Monday, she sells it. It was her first deal ever. She only made $3,000 on it, but it was a house in Muncie, Indiana. It was only a $22,000 house. It's like 15% if you really think about it.
It's a great deal.
It's a great deal. And it's like, but the truth is, she isn't special. She's not her. What special is her attitude.
Right.
Is her knowing of the success. If you don't think you trust me, and you think the leads are a scam, and you think everything's full of shit, you're gonna bring that right into that person's life.
Right.
And you're gonna blow the deal. So that's the one piece of advice that I would just share with everybody.
Light Leak says Chris Hansen's on the way. Damn. We got a miner on here. All right, well, we're wrapping up Lead Mining Pros with an S. .com. Nicholas Nick, find him on Facebook. I think you're going to shoot some stuff on the psych wall right quick
before
you leave.
Yes, sir.
So go follow him, like, subscribe if you ran across us, whatever. Look him up on Facebook. You need to get a YouTube channel.
Yeah, I got a little bit of a YouTube channel.
Plug the YouTube.
Yeah, there's only like 600 subscribers. It is at Lead Mining. So if you go to youtube.com/lead mining, you will find us. I do put all my video content up there. So although I didn't mention it here, I don't forget it in all my courses are on there as well.
Okay.
My group coaching recordings go on there.
Awesome.
I put every video I ever take on YouTube. So help me raise up that subscribers from 562.
Get him over 1,000 so he can get monetized. We'll appreciate it.
All
Thank
in
you.
the description as well.
Yeah, awesome.
Address this last question here, just because we have an ad running. So.
Peter V, the real deal, yes or no? Who's Peter V? I think this is a joke where it's like Ligma. I don't know who Peter V is, so I'm going to say I don't think so. I don't know. I've never heard of him, so we'll have to research Peter V. And nobody's ever sent me anything negative or positive.
Yeah,
about
I've
him.
never heard of that.
So appreciate y'all. Later.
See you.
What's